Okay, we're going to go over page 38B, which is a review of the end of 3.7 and 3.8, finding percent of change and solving for different variables. So on page 38B, let's look at number 1. Number 1 says the original price is $4.50, so the old is $4.50, the new is $3.50, and we always find the change. And the change is found by subtracting the smaller from the bigger, so the change is 100. So our percent change formula says change over original equals percent over 100. So my change is 100, my original is 450, equals x over 100. So I cross multiply and I say 450x equals 10,000. So x equals 22, and I can round it to 0.2%. So 22.2%. Okay? Now for the next one, again a percent change. So the original is 250, the new is 150, so again our change, and this is not always the case, but it is in these, is 100, because I did 250 minus 150 is 100. I put change over original equals x over 100, and this ends up being 250x equals 10,000, so x equals 40%. And this is a percent decrease because the price went from an original of 250 to a new of 150. Okay? Now, another type of problem says increase 60 by 15%. And if I'm increasing 60 by 15%, you would say 15% of what? And I would say 15% of 60. So we start with 60, we increase it by 15% of 60. And doing that, we get 60 plus 9 equals 69. Now another way to do this would be to say, okay, 60 was 100%, but now we're going to increase it by 15%. So we want to know what 115% of 60 is. We'd set up this proportion and we still get the same answer of 69. Okay. Now what we're going to practice is solving for different variables. Now this one says put in function form. You need to know this direction. Put in function form. If you remember from the beginning of the year, function form means solve for y, because y is a function of x, so it means solve for y. So 7x plus 2y minus 5 equals 3x minus 4y plus 3. So before I can solve for y, I need to get every term that has a y on the same side. And I need to get every term that doesn't have a y on the other side. So I'm going to add 4y here. So now I have 7x plus 6y minus 5 equals 3x plus 3. So now I'm going to subtract 7x, and I'm going to add 5. So I get 6y equals negative 4x plus 8. And now I'm going to divide by 6, divide by 6, divide by 6. So y will equal negative 2/3 x plus 4/3, because we should always simplify. Okay? Now, the next one says solve for x. So if y equals x over z plus w, and I have to solve for x, well, the first thing I notice is there is a fraction. And whenever there's a fraction, I ask you to get rid of it. And we get rid of a fraction by multiplying by the common denominator. So in this case, the common denominator is z. So I'm going to multiply the y by z. I'm going to multiply this by z and get x. And I'm going to multiply the w by z. Okay, so now I'm going to solve for x, and I have no more fractions. So now all I have to do is subtract wz from both sides, and x equals zy minus wz. Okay, and now for the last one, number 6, ax plus bx equals c. And I have to solve for x. Now, I have both terms that have an x on the same side. They can't be combined, though, because I can't combine the a with the b. So, this is a situation where Grandma, who is x, is in the house, and she brought the wrong cookies, so we're kicking her out. So we have to put Grandma on the outside of the house and draw the house. When Grandma leaves, she divides, and what's left, when we divide, is a plus b. Now we can double check that we're right. What's a times x? It's ax. What's b times x? It's bx. So we are correct. Now I'm going to divide both sides by a plus b. So x equals c over a plus b. Okay? So this is an excellent review of the end of 3.7 and 3.8.